Hello, Converge collectors. So first I gotta apologize for the music going on. Although the windows are closed, there's a really loud party outside. So it's been going on for days. And I'm not gonna stop my videos. So you just gotta deal with it, or just watch someone else's review. Today we have EX17, it's MRX-009, the Psycho Gundam, and yet it's spelled in a weird way, Psyco. This came out in 2017. I bought this off eBay for a lot of money. And it's the only Gundam Converge I've ever seen with plastic wrap like this. I don't know if this is the way they all came, or if the seller is just really, precautious and wrapped it this way. The seller did say it was new, but it's the first one I've seen with plastic wrap, so if anyone knows if they're all supposed to come this way, please leave a comment. I'm sure other people would want to know. On this box, what do we have? We have some basic stats there. 40 meters tall, 214 tons, and a whole lot of power. And it can transform into this mobile flight mode versus the robot mode. Not so much there or there. There's the mobile mode. Okay. So while I open this up, let's just go into fandom here. So it was featured in Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. And here's the story behind it. Let me just hit focus there, and you can pause while I open this now. I did watch on YouTube the battle where this thing was, the final battle, I think, between this and I think it was the Zeta Gundam, which I don't actually have in Converge form. It's funny these things come with these little pieces of gum. This one's getting kind of gross. So the instructions will come in handy. Now I just gotta get everything out of the bags. So be careful not to cut the parts. I'm not sure why they wouldn't just have a big line of bags as usual. But there we go. This is what I'm used to seeing, compartmentalized bags. These three are the flight mode. Oh, you know what? Let me close this out. You've had time to read that. Here's some images. And one more bag. Those antennae are usually rigid plastic, so you gotta be careful with those. Okay, let's get all this out. So it looks like there's two stands. Oh, this might be a giant foot stand, like a giant version of the dumb stands these things, the old versions came with. This is the flight mode stand, I imagine. And I imagine it goes like this. Okay, let's do the flight mode first because I'm never going to display it in the flight mode. So I assume it goes together like this. Boy, I gotta figure this out. So where are these triangular pieces it's showing? This maybe? The arms? Or forearms? Oh, so the arms actually, they're assembled, but I think they come apart, see? And they're all clear plastic, so they paint the plastic pretty well. I'm not sure why they do that, because if there's no clear parts visible on the robot, wouldn't it just make sense if they molded all this in black plastic, seeing how the whole thing is black? Because it's really hard to paint clear parts, I've noticed. It's best to actually try to paint parts that are white, or maybe silver. Yeah, again, this hand is clear plastic, but they painted it like gunmetal. I just feel like it would have been smarter to have it a darker color or a solid color instead of clear. So naturally the hand articulates. There's a peg hole here. Not sure what that's all about. Okay, so the other, well, this is interesting. This forearm doesn't have a peg hole at all. Right. I see numbers associated, but I'm trying to find numbers on these parts, but I don't see them. I suspect this. Oh, does this come apart? Maybe that's what this image is here. This has left and right, and it does say 5R, 5L, so I guess this goes like that. You know what? I'm going to pause and put this together, but I'll just show you all the parts up close here. It's going to take too long if I try to focus in and out between that paper and all these pieces. So let's move this paper out of the way and just look at these parts. It's like a matte finished black, and the red is alright as far as the color separation goes. This must have, and this one, these are marked left and right. Okay. So this is the antennae thing with thrusters. Where's the head? Alright, so the head is really neat. It's got some purple paint up there, but the eyes are translucent purple, and this silver molded details behind those eyes, so that's nice. The chin's got some red going on here. I do feel like they could have added more paint apps though. This is not your standard run-of-the-mill Converge, you know? It's huge, and I feel like they could have added more paint apps. Ooh, this is cool. Like here, there's a giant rectangle. It's calling for paint. What I suspect is maybe later they're going to come out with a core version. The core ones have graphics and stuff painted on them. So they pretty much put out like a kind of like a weak effort at the first attempt, and then they come out with a better one later to reuse the mold and recoup their money. It's smart, but it's not good. Good for collectors. I would, you know, if you know this, you just won't buy their initial release, right? But that's basically how they do it. Alright, this piece here has a bunch of cool thrusters on it. Yellow details, panel gaps. It's like a purplish torso color. Some nice red metallic paint in there. Oh, this is the chest piece, I see. This is the top. And then we have some recessed yellow there. Not applied so well, but then this comes out. Look at this. It actually has gunmetal on the inside. Alright, so there's a lot of parts I gotta take apart, I think, before I can figure out how to put this together. This must be the flight mode, because the feet are so short. This must be the frame for the flight mode. Oh, but even this, the feet come off. So, again, I'll have to look at the manual. This is for when it's actually a robot, right? So quite a big difference. And look at the scale of the feet. So in flight mode, the flight mode seems to be a different scale entirely to the robot mode. So the robot mode, you have that red in the middle again, looks nice. The nice contrasting purplish parts here, gunmetal here, matte black, yellow, red, a lot of colors. And does this come apart, I wonder? I feel some wobbliness somewhere in here. Oh, well, the feet come off. I don't know, I feel like this, oh, yep, see, that comes off. It is labeled right. So those probably swap onto this for the flight mode. What if this butt piece comes off? Yep, it does. Alright, so there's a lot of, oh, that whole thing comes off. Alright, so it seems like there's a whole lot of pieces that are put together, and you're going to have to actually take them apart to do this transformation. So let me come back, or let me look at this and I'll come back. Alright, I'm just going to pause as I go about doing this. So I took the shield apart in half. And you'll see it's got the, you know, chassis number molded in, which is really neat. So this part goes on here. They're both labeled R. And then this came off the arm, but unfortunately this isn't labeled R. But according to the diagram, it wants to come inwards, like the side of the shield. So that's one part, and I guess I'm just going to do the opposite with the L's. Oh, wait, the wing has to go on the outside. So like that, and then this has to come on the inside. Like that. So actually right, left, do it that way. Alright, so those parts are pulled off the standing one, just pop onto this floating one. The feet don't swap out, but maybe it'd be easier if you took them off before you put this on. Let's see. Maybe it doesn't make a difference, but I'll just go ahead and do it anyways. So something like that. Put those feet back on. So now we have the bottom torso done. Okay, the next one we put whatever this thruster pack thing is here. Pop this in there. This may have actually been in there in the first place. I can't remember anymore. But supposedly that goes in like that. And honestly, I don't know if this is supposed... Yeah, I guess it must go in this way because that tooth is going to fit in there. Alright, so we have that. So, these side plates now go onto this. I guess this is the front. This is the right side. Well, maybe I should put the torso in there first. In the lower flight torso, or the leg area. So there's a really big joint there. Alright, now let's put this right side on. Now we'll put the left side on. Oh, it also pegs in two spots. I didn't even realize that. There's a hole there and there. So it's really solid, you know, with the two pegs. That's a solid chunk of plastic right there. And then the last bit, I guess, is this whatever weird folded head thing. Gunmetal pistons, black, yellow, red, venting. And, well, this is interesting. Where does it go in here, though? Oh, does this neck piece come out? I almost feel this doesn't belong. Let's take this out for a sec. Yeah, that doesn't belong. Okay, so that is the flight mode of this, and so that stand I put together goes up in that hole. So there it is spinning next to that image. You'll have to decide if it looks good or not. It's not the same as the image, the actual design of it. So I feel like, you know, in the cartoon they think they can change whatever they want. I'm thinking here they're molding it off of the robot, you know, not the flight mode. The flight mode is probably not how most people are going to display it. Okay, let me pause, break this apart, and we'll try to put it back together as a robot. Or maybe, you know, just fast forward if you don't like watching this stuff. So hold on. I'm going to see if I can figure this out as far as becoming a robot. I definitely know this probably won't be part of the robot. But the shield, I know that has to come back together. So let me get that going. Oy. That is really tight. These go on the arms. I think this has nothing to do with the robot. Alright, the shield goes together like that. It's really loose though. Here are the arms. If this is the left arm, I think it's like this. Okay. This is the right arm. So the peg is like that, so it goes into the shoulder. So it takes the stand off. I know I have to get these shins back and the torso pieces back. Okay, so I think these again have nothing to do with the standing robot. So now I have to go back to this. I'll have to put the shin back on, or maybe I should put the torso together first. So this thing, and then the back butt plates, whatever. That goes like that. Now I'll pop this in. This is the right side. This is the left side. Okay, where those feet? The feet are actually canted at an angle. It's interesting. Very dynamic pose, I guess. Nice thruster details on the feet. Okay, so that looks good. Now let's figure out this torso. I think maybe this might come, I don't know, maybe that stays where it does, but this torso pops on like this. Or am I missing something? There's this piece. This looks like it belongs here before the head goes on. Okay. And the arms, so the right arm goes into this hole here. This goes into here. And the head, I put the antenna in already. And you can rotate the head, it looks like, because it's a round peg and a hex hole. So yeah, you can get some left-right. And I guess that does stay where it does. It just doesn't need to come off at all. I wonder if it should go in the up position though. Maybe, no, it doesn't. I think it's supposed to be in the down position because it's colliding with the head. Maybe it's supposed to be in the up position in the flight mode, but I think I had it in the down position. It's weird, if you look here, the peg doesn't want to like bottom out. I guess it's bottoming out on those V-shaped things. I just kind of thought it would just be a flat rectangular surface. Alright, so this goes back on here. So, amazingly, I actually figured it out without the instructions. Then the peg hole in that arm is for the shield. Oh, but see, it's kind of loose. The more you pose these things, the bigger the holes get, and henceforth, the looser things become. Maybe it's better to put this on like this. Adjust the hand. So there's a nice amount of clearance between the hand and the shield, so you can pose it. And I'll pop that back up into the shoulder. Alright, hold on again. And then you have again this giant silly foot stand that it's just totally unnecessary. It blocks so much of the robot. I can't even put it on, but as you can see, it stands perfectly fine without the stand. So that's the biggest waste of plastic I've experienced to date in the Converge lineups. So basically you're left over with 1, 2, 3, 4 in the stand if you're not doing the flight mode. So those are going to go in a baggie. So one thing I'm not liking about this thing is there's almost no posability. Because you have to have these square shapes to make it flight mode, you can't rotate the shoulder. And even though this is a separate piece, you can't rotate the bicep either. The only thing that can rotate is the hands. So that's a shame. I guess you can rotate the shield a little bit, but almost all Converges, the legs don't move at all. The torso also, because it's not a round peg, you can't twist the torso. So only the head and the hands really can be posed in different ways. Sorry, the head, the hands, and the shield. So that's unfortunate, the sacrifices that are made to convert it into flight mode. I almost would prefer it if they just sold this thing and then a separate flight mode. And then another weird thing about the Converges is look how far forward it's leaning. It's like, it's unnatural. It's really strange. And then it forces the eyes to look very down. So I can't really even see the eyes here because the head is looking at the ground. So I'd much prefer just a more normal stance where you can, it's just weird. But that seems to be a general theme with most Converges. So a very imposing, Converge, I guess a sense of scale. I don't have a Zeta Gundam, but I have this thing called a Zeta Plus. It's number 90. Fandom was saying this is twice as big as a normal Gundam, and it's actually kind of close in the Converge realm. This is a double Zeta. It's number 69 in the lineup. So yeah, this is definitely much bigger. And then when you count the other plastic pieces, it's that's why it's an extra special Converge size and pieces. So you'll have to decide if the aftermarket price is good for you. Like I was mentioning before, I'm pretty sure they'll probably eventually come out with this again, but they're gonna print on a bunch of other stuff, tampo prints and stuff, so they can resell the same mold for, in the future. But I'm pretty happy with the way it is now, because if you look at the cartoon behind, the cartoon doesn't actually have any text written on anywhere. In fact, this even has more because it has the chassis code in there. This Converge has more detail than the cartoon, so I'm happy with that. And then I might detail it up with my own decals anyways. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next Converge. Bye.